Hello, everybody. You can barely see my head is just floating at the bottom of the screen. Let me see what I can maybe do about that. Can I? Oh, there I can adjust a little bit. Hello. So I am in my spare bedroom, and I just thought I would pop on and we do a little shopping haul. I haven't really tried going live here since I rearranged it. Now, don't worry about this shelf back here. There's a whole lot of chaos happening on that shelf because that's a bunch of stuff that I either have to put into storage or some of it's going to stay there, but in a different way. But I just moved some of the decorative stuff, and I've got a couple old computers that are like right down here. So just ignore that. But if anybody stops in, say hello. Hello, Mama Champagne. This is the mother suite. So this is where Mama Champagne stays. And then there's the bathroom. So this house is an old house. It was built like early 1900s, I think. So it was built before there were bathrooms on the inside. And so there used to be an outhouse. So there were 2 bedrooms in this house. And so basically when they put in plumbing, because the world moves on, they just like chunked out part of this bedroom and made it the bathroom. And then my bedroom is on the other side of that. And so you have to walk through the bathroom to get to this bedroom. It's kind of an odd setup, but I just thought I would come on here because today I just kind of had a little fun day out. I was going to go be boring and I was going to do a bunch of work at my office. And I thought, well, one way to make sure that I get up in the morning, because there's nothing I hate more in the world than anything at all that makes me set an alarm on the weekend. But I was like, you know what? I'll call a couple of my friends, Dwayne and Rob, and I'll see if they're going to go to farmer's market. And then I'll go to farmer's market with them. They go about 10:30, and I'll get some vegetables. I'll get some fresh bread, some, little thises and that's. And then I'll go in and do some work at the office or whatever. Well, then I didn't realize this, is that today in Grand Forks, they had a downtown street fair. So it was a lot. The parking situation was even more atrocious than it always is. It was just a little bit ridiculous. But there was a street fair with vendors and things. And so we kind of walked around that. We had lunch at Joe Black's. Then we went to Rhombus Guys and had a few drinks. And then we walked around a little more. And eventually it was like 4:00. And then I went to the office for a little bit and I did a couple of things. And then Angie texted me. Well, I had texted her because I said, I got some things. I bought way too many vegetables at the farmer's market. So I was like, I'm going to give you a selection of the stuff that I bought. So I was like, why don't you stop by my office when you're on your way home? Because she was downtown as well. And so then then she texted me and she's like, we're going to go to the Fantastic Four at 7:45. And I was like, well, I guess we don't have to work today. I'm not actually, I don't work on the weekends unless I just want to like catch up on some work. So I was like, I guess today is just going to be a fun day. And so then I went, and then my friend Janine, who I've done full moon readings with before, she has a little crystal tarot shop in the little mini mall space that has our theater in East Grand Forks. And she was open. And so I stopped in and bought a couple crystals from her. So I got a few crystals at the street fair. And then I got some crystals at Janine's shop. And then I went to Ulta between as well. So I was like, you know what? Let's have a little mini holiday. It's mostly crystals and makeup. So an encapsulation of my life. But yeah, so let me go ahead and see what we've got here. So the first thing, the easiest to get to, let me get the stuff from Janine's. So from Janine's shop, and she gave me the little stands, which was lovely. So these will go into, I posted some pictures a while back of my little curio that's got all my stones. So these will go into one of my 2 curio cabinets. I got to figure out where. They're all pretty full, but I got a couple fun things. And Janine had really good prices. So if you're ever in East Grand Forks, Crystal Clear, I think it's called. But if you're in the like River Cinema, the little mall. Now, a while ago, hello, Grace, how's it going? We're about to talk about some crystals, and I've got a little light up here that I'm hoping will help with this. Now, if you're a crystal fan, I love fluorite, and I keep telling myself that I'm not allowed to buy more fluorite. And then I go out and immediately buy more fluorite because I think it's beautiful. Most common, you see it in green or green and purple. Sometimes it'll just be purple, and then it's sometimes mistaken for amethyst. So it looks very similar to amethyst. Or you can get it in yellow and blue. So there's different colors. But this piece, I just loved this. And look at that color. And what I love about fluorite is there's often little inclusions. Let me see if I can get this lamp down closer, if that helps or hurts. Oh, not maybe like, there we go. So there we can see. So you can see it's just got really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful green and purple striping in that. And I just loved this cut, this fun like diamond. It's like those on The Sims, the little things above their head. And so that's why, that's another reason why I end up with a lot of fluorite, is that fluorite, they cut it into more shapes. So not just like spheres or those like tower obelisks. They'll do to, and there's going to be another piece of fluorite that you're going to see, and you're going to see that that one's also in kind of a different shape. But I just thought that was so pretty. And then she gave me this really fun little stand. So there's just this fun, it just slides right in there. So that will go into my fluorite collection. So there is that one. And then I am a romantic at heart. And this one is a beautiful, beautiful rose quartz. I'm hoping we can get, you can see some of the, it's a little bit blown out from the light. It's a pretty rich, like pink color. Oh, maybe. It's really pretty. And my friend Janine, I should ask her if she sells online at all. Because her prices are really good. Because like this sphere, and you can see that this is like the size of the palm of my hand. I know perspective is hard on cameras and stuff, but it's probably about the size of a baseball or a little bit larger. And this was $25. $25. That's unheard of anywhere. So like the prices on her stones are really, really good. I'm really impressed with them. And they're just beautiful. Like this is a gorgeous. And again, she gave me, I'm not sure if I can. Oh, I put it over here already. And she just had this little fun, this is a little plastic stand that looks like a little cut crystal stand. How pretty is that? But $25 for a sphere this big. Unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. All right. So now let's go into my street fair goodies. So that was at her store. I did buy a scarf. So there was a guy who was selling these like Indian scarves. And there was this one that has kind of like jade green with red, and it's really soft. And so I love a good scarf. And so, not that you can see it because I'm just a floating head on the bottom of the screen, but there we go. I am loving this. So I was like, you know what? I'll get a little scarf for myself. Next week is Duluth Pride, so maybe I'll bring a fun green scarf to wear. But at the only other thing that I bought at the street fair besides that scarf, there were two crystal booths. One of them, they have a spot in the Midtown Marketplace. It's called like Hippie Chips or Hippie Chicks or Midwest Hippies or something. It's in the Midtown Marketplace. And so I've seen their stuff before, but the booth was really small and it was really packed. And their stuff is kind of overpriced, especially like a sphere this size at that like Hippie Chicks. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything under $50, $75 for a sphere this size, depending on the stone. Even for rose quartz, which is not terribly like, it's not an expensive stone overall, they would probably have it for more than twice what she was charging. Yes, we can absolutely go. I think you would like Janine's spot, Mama Champagne. She's got some fun stuff. So, but there was another crystal booth, and they had better prices than the Hippie Chicks or whatever they were called. So I did pick up 3 pieces from them. And so I got this beautiful crystal, smoky quartz crystal. And it's just got beautiful inclusions. I mean, if you look at that, just, it's so beautiful. And the way that it's not really catching the light, but there's little like rainbows when it hits the right way. Trying to see if I can get it to, oh, there we go. Oh, maybe there's a little bit more if we can get, yeah. So that's little, and this is a smoky quartz. Now this is not as smoky as smoky quartz usually is. This is looking very like regular quartz. But it is a smoky quartz. It's got a little bit of grayness there. You kind of got a little rainbow there. Oh, maybe that's the screen. But that is the smoky quartz, right? Yeah, smoky quartz. And then we'll do the other sphere, and then we'll do the last piece of fluorite. And this one is UV reactive, and this is a volcano agate. I don't have a black light here in my house. Otherwise, I would give you a little preview, but you can kind of see how it's got this beautiful, like more opaque, this kind of pinky stuff. And then over like on the sides, then it's a little bit milkier and a little bit more translucent. And this one is marked as being UV reactive. So I'm very excited to see this under a black light at some point. But yeah, so that's this camera. When it's backwards like this, I get so confused trying to turn this around, but just really beautiful. And as far as I know, I have a few different kinds of agates, but I don't know that I've ever had a volcano agate before. I just thought that was really pretty. And that did come with a little, they give me a little stand. So there's a little stand you can put that on, so those will sit nicely in my case. And then the other piece of fluorite, because I do love me some fluorite. I can't stop, won't stop. Hey Dion, we're just going through, I'll do a review of the stones after we talk about this last one, so you can see them all. But here is another piece of fluorite. Beautiful. This one much more green. There's only a little bit of purple kind of right through here. Oh, but look how sometimes the banding on that, see that purple? How it just kind of is floating in the middle there? Oh, I love it. So this is why I can't stay away from fluorite, because it's always so beautiful. And at some point I probably will do like some sort of tour of my crystal cabinets, so that you can see all the different pieces, but I can't stop buying fluorite because it's so beautiful. And compared to some other things, it's a pretty inexpensive stone. It's one of those that like can be a little pricier sometimes, but depending on the size and some of the rarer colors, especially like a blue fluorite or a yellow fluorite is going to run you a little bit more. But like the green and purple fluorite, they're on the less expensive, so it's definitely a fun one. Yeah, so let's do a little review of all of the 5 pieces that I picked up today. So this is the first green and purple fluorite. This was what drew me into the booth, because like that booth was also really small, the other crystal booth where I got these, and there were a couple of people in there, and they were kind of like, you know how sometimes people, when they're out in public, it's like they've never been in public before, and they don't realize that like they are blocking everything and they're in the way, and they're like leaning over and going back and forth, and it's like, we don't have room for these kind of shenanigans. And I almost walked past, and in the corner of my eye, I saw this piece of fluorite, and I was like, well, I'll just wait then, because I got to get into that booth and I got to see that fluorite. And so I was like, oh, so this is the one that kicked it off. And I saw this, and then the second one I saw was this fun little volcano agate, which is UV reactive. So at some point when I do like a crystal tour, I'll have to try to do so that I'm trying not to give all my secrets away. I didn't take the price tag off. Yes, some people have the spatial awareness of a toddler. It is a little bit ridiculous. So that is the volcano agate, or volcano agate. And then from that booth, then I also picked up the beautiful smoky quartz. And a very light smoky quartz. I really like that because I do like the darker smoky quartz, but I like this one because it's just almost like it just, I know it's not coming across maybe as well on camera, but you get more of the flash and more of the little rainbows, but it's almost like the gray of like a rainy day, which I love. So I love that. And then for my friend Janine's, we got the beautiful rose quartz. I love a rose quartz. We got this sphere. And then we got the other. This is really kind of the showstopper for me, and I cannot believe this was also $25. Like, so the both of the two from Janine's were $50 total. This was $25, and look, it's like almost the size of my hand. It's beautifully cut into this like diamond shape. So $25 for this is bananas. And you can see it's got beautiful inclusions. It's got that gorgeous green and purple striping. Absolutely love it. Oh, I love fluorite so much. It is beautiful. It's so pretty. I just love it. So there is that. So those are the fun stones. So that was really all I got at the street fair. That we looked around and there was cute stuff. But I've gotten a little bit better about not just like buying everything from every vendor. Sometimes I almost have like rummage sale guilt, I call it, where I feel like if I go in and I'm the only one in a booth and the person looks a little sad, then like sometimes I feel like I have to buy something. And I'm getting a little bit better at that. So I stuck to my crystals and my scarf. But then I did take a trip to Ulta because there is a brand that I've been wanting to try. And so I was like, you know what? If we're going to start doing some Get Ratchet With Me live, I know we've talked a little bit about maybe doing some lives more regularly. I was like, let's get a few things to play with. And so I went and got a few things. Let me pull them out. And so the first thing that I picked up is I got a set of these Morphe eye brushes. I have been loving the new Morphe brushes. I've been loving a lot of the new Morphe products. Their like redemption relaunch has been going really well, and I've really generally liked all the stuff. I have to remember that the camera is up there because I keep looking down at where my face is, and then I realize that like then I'm not looking at anybody. But yeah, so these little eye brushes, I'm here for it. I love it. And then we got a few little drugstore things. I decided to try, I thought it might be fun in an upcoming video, to play with some of the new NYX liquid blushes. They have the fat cheeks. Everything is like the duck fat lip plumper and the fat cheeks. And they're doing this whole thing that is a little sketchy, but so I got a couple pairs of blushes. So here are two that's reading really pink. But these are both, this is kind of like a more purple, and then this is kind of like a more, it's looking very pink, but it's more of a, like an orchid purple. And I thought these would blend well together because we know I don't wear blush. I wear 6 blushes. So I was like, well, I should get at least 2 to blend. And so I was like, these 2 would blend really nice together. And they're NYX, so they're fairly inexpensive. And then I got a set that's more peachy pink red. Again, the light not great. Blushes, yeah, I know. Well, and that's the thing is because I was like, well, these are the liquids, and then I'll probably put powder over those. But I was like, we'll start with the liquid. And so, so these fat cheeks, and there's this one, the lighter one. Peach Plunge. This color looks so beautiful. And again, it's coming off much more pink. It's much more of like a pink leaning peach. It's really pretty. And then this is more of like a red leaning towards pink. And I thought those would kind of mesh together well. And then, yeah, I usually put powder on top of that and then highlighter. So it gets to be a lot. And then I've picked up, they had the Fenty, those the gloss stick lipsticks that I've been loving. In their new collection, they had one that is too many carrots, or how many carrots? How many carrots? And it is, oh, this is I can't remember where everything is. So this is a little blanket, yep, that's sitting on top of my bookshelf with my Fear Street books. A little folded up fuzzy blankie. So this is one of their gloss sticks, and this is kind of like a pearl white with some iridescent shine. It's a little bit more sheer. And for a second I thought this had a different smell. If you have not smelled, the liquid lipsticks don't really have this smell, but if you smell like any of the lipsticks, any of the lip glosses, I think most of their lip products have this like cherry candy smell. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So I decided to pick up the new, there's a few, I think there was a couple more new shades, but I was like, I like this one for sure. Yeah, this would be great just to add some gloss and some iridescent glittery shine on top of pretty much anything, because it'll kind of sheer out and match with whatever you're wearing underneath. Yeah, this is, I can't remember where it is. This is very soft. It's one of those almost like, I don't know if they call it microfiber, because then I just think of those like makeup remover things, but it's like that really soft fur. But yeah, so we picked that up. And then there is a new brand that I keep seeing, and it is the brand Dibs. And I don't know if they're any good, but they have a lot of blush products. And so obviously I had to try. So we picked up 3 things from Dibs, and we're going to see if they're any good. One of them, so this is the Duet Baked Blush Duo. So there was a lot of products that came in duos, where you got 2 colors for one, which I guess is fine. If they're good, I guess we'll find out. That'll be part of the like trying it out process. But there's something about this packaging that I really kind of like. The things that I'm going to show you next remind me a lot of Alma Beauty, and some of my favorite things from them. But it just had a cute, just this little white packaging with the little clear top. And then this is a baked blush. And they have that beautiful fuchsia and that kind of more purple. And I thought, well, that would look really lovely with those purple NYX blushes. So I could put this on top of those to add a little bit more color. And then they had these duo sticks. And these are what reminds me of Alma Beauty, because they had those, it was like a contour on one side and then the highlight on the other. And I've had a ton of them, and the highlight was almost always untouched. And I ran that contour into the ground because I love a contour stick. And so, and now that I'm into cream blushes more, I was like, oh, because those highlighters they were okay, but they were more like average makeup person colors. And these I think are going to work more. And these have a contour and then a blush. And so one of them, there's the Desert Island Duo, which is a blush bronzer stick, and the Glow Tour Duo Shimmering Blush Contour Duo. So I thought I would try their 2, I would try their 2 different formulas of cream blush, the matte and the shimmer. And so the first one, which is the matte, these little boxes are always so hard for me to open. So this is Cool Girl and No Shade. And so they're just kind of fun. Like they're just these little double-ended sticks. And then one side is the contour. So that's the shade Cool Girl. And I'll maybe we'll do a little bit of swatching. Let's open everything and then maybe we'll do a little bit of swatching. And then this is the blush, which is a bright pink. I tried to get different blush colors. I was like, let's also not buy 6 of the same color blush, because have I done that before? Pretty much absolutely yes. So I was like, since I'm trying different products and different like formulations, let's try to get things that will work together, but that are at least different colors. So now this is the Glow Tour Duo, which is the shimmering blush. And this has more of like a metallic pink packaging. And so then there is the shimmer blush. And that is in the shade, I threw away the box. So this one doesn't have separate shades. It's just called Starlit. And so that is the shimmer blush. This one I thought looked like it was kind of trying to be a dupe for Orgasm by NARS. And so I was like, well, I know I love that color. And then another, this contour is a little bit darker, because sometimes I like a little bit of a darker contour if I'm doing more of a stage makeup where you have to see it from farther away. And then if it's like a filming day or a photo shoot day, I like to go a little more subtle, whatever that is for me. So those are the products. So let's do a little bit of, the light is probably going to be horrendous for swatching, so I apologize in advance, but let's just do some little swatches. So let's do this Dibs contour. This is, the blush is called Cool Girl and the bronzer is called No Shade, or the contour. So there is, oh yeah, the lighting is going to be terrible, and I always do it in a place that's not easy for me to show on camera. So there's Cool Girl, and then No Shade. Ooh, that's nice and creamy. I like that. Yeah, and that's a nice lighter for me kind of contour. My hand is even paler than my face, so it looks really stark on there, but on my face it would be a little bit closer to the, still a brown, like a contour, but closer to my skin tone. And then Starlet, this is the one that doesn't have different. So let's do spin this up a little bit. And so this is the like shimmery blush. Ooh, and that's very peach. And that shine, I think it's just looking shiny, but it does have like a gold pearl in the shine. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. Loving this. And there were so many products. This brand came out of nowhere. I had never heard of this. And then just one day I was in Ulta and there was a whole display of it. And I was like, this is a thing apparently. And it's just like an end cap. Like it's not a full gondola. Ooh, that's a little bit darker and also a little bit cool tone, a little bit more cool toned. I like that. And these have a nice smell. I wouldn't say that they're fragranced, but I do think they have a little bit, like a light little kind of scent added, but not enough that, like when I think of fragranced makeup, I think of like those Too Faced palettes that used to like have a really strong smell. I think about things like that, but yeah. So this is called VIP Pink. And again, there's just one name for the two shades. And so let's go ahead and do finger swatch of this kind of hot pink. I'm going to do that next to the light pink cream blush, and then we'll do the purple. Hello, Locke. How are you doing? Welcome to my random, out of nowhere late night live stream. We're just, I'm swatching some Dibs blushes. So this is a brand that I just randomly found in my Ulta. I never really heard of them. I don't know much about them, but they had a lot of like blush products, blushes. And so there is VIP Pink. I like that. And I think that will pair nicely with the others. And then of course we've got our 4 NYX blushes, the Fat Cheeks. So let's go ahead and swatch the pinky peachy ones first. So this shade, where do they have the shade at? This is Bouncin' Berry. So if I go, okay. So this side is closer to the camera. Okay, where my thumb is. All right. And this will go on pretty thick because remember, this is a liquid blush and I would pat it out and all that kind of stuff. But this is Bouncin' Berry. That's a nice, you can see even as it goes on with the brush, it does kind of sheer out, which I like. And those Real Technique sponges, if you have trouble with liquid especially, or liquid or cream products like blushes and stuff, those Real Technique sponges that are like a turquoise teal, that are like a looser, more porous kind of sponge. I don't know why, but those work so well for me for cream and liquid products that, because I used to not be able to just use liquid products at all because I couldn't get them to work. Yeah, I think we're on another blush journey. I thought I was done, and then it turns out that I'm never done. Never done. I need to do a